Shalom, Yahweh Shem El Shai Barak Thumb to all the brothers, Yahweh Shem El Thumb, Shem El Shai to all the sisters, priest and officer 1000 Zabadja. We're live. This is the law class. We're live at 5120 Young Street in the library, first floor, room 3. You could come and join us right now because we're live at 5120 Young Street in the North Central Library, the first floor on the third room, right? We'll be teaching a topic today that most people won't want to talk about, right? But we're going to be going in because this is I.S.U.P.K and the home of the truth under commanding General YAHANNA, right? Give me a moment. We're going to be starting up in a few moments. I'm going to place some sign-in links for you, and then you could hit that sign-in link. So give us a moment. We're going to rock out.
Baby, no listen to no fake news, them can't. Could hold it out and them never fake news. Notice say I just be a bad bitch, I get forward from with you. But the one you have to good girl, them lazy. She never did a features, R-rated. Never did a features, half naked. Me never did a piggy R-ratings, halfway, that's why me give R-ratings. She never did a features, half naked. Never did a features, R-rated. Me never did a piggy R-ratings, halfway, that's why me give R-ratings. I know every girl a white material. I know every girl forget the juice in my seed bag. I know every girl me trust to cook my food, nor boil my tea, not even put the milk in the cereal. Me like a catty when me dival. When we wash for cook for clean and no fuss. When she hear me get a new girl, I know that me mean when me say me fight me demons. Multiple wife legally, no illegal. Yeah, straight, me go crazy. I know every catty can be my first lady. I know every press plus body done baby plus Tatiana no fit in a no Mercedes. When me say oh luxury dolly fi nurse baby, a trouble when luxury dolly turn old lady. So big up every girl we don't lazy. Your body big but why your mommy don't hate it. I rate it. Never did a fi dress half naked. Me never did a fi give her ratings halfway. That's why me give her ratings. She never did a fi dress half naked. Never did a fi dress R-rated. Me never did a piggy R-ratings halfway. That's why me give her ratings. She now wait pan money for reach her and donation. She make reach her man donation. One run job and run, but the waist gal a pull her fi leave her man, but she stay strong. She know say them are no friends, them are haters. Them sleep with every man in a the acre. Can't get nobody fi stay long and want the advice for relation. Baby, no listen to no fake news. Them can't keep a man cause them never stay true. Could hold it out and them never pay dues. Never shut them out and them wicked and cruel, eh? Bag a man a rush but them just a get yours. Everything them have them did a fear blows. Instagram live them nude for the views. Baby that I know you though. Sure, I rate it. Never did a pictures half naked. Me never did a piggy R-ratings halfway. That's why me give her ratings. She never did a features half naked. Never did a features R-rated. Me never did a piggy R-ratings halfway. That's why me give her ratings. One wish.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, we're at it. This is the law class. Wednesday, we'll be doing this law class Wednesday live, 6 p.m. A little bit of technical difficulties today, so we're starting a little late. But we'll be doing this law class live 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. going out forward on Wednesdays, right? So today we're going to be talking about sex, right? What a man and a woman does, right? It's according to the Bible, sex is marriage, right? That's something the Christian church, your pastor, your fake leaders with fringes on shirts, right? The purple pigs, they're not going to tell you this, right? But we're going to be going into it today. We're going to be breaking this all the way down, right? It's going to help fix your relationship, fix your family, and fix your marriage. right? So let's get into this. Let's definitely get into this, right? So, I also got a video, right? A lot of y'all seen the Keke Palmer situation, right? And that the Keke Palmer situation is a situation that many households go through, where a man he will sleep with a woman, right? He will sleep with a woman. Hold up. Let me get TikTok ready. All right, 3, 2, 1. And we're on TikTok. Okay, TikTok, this is the law class, I.S.U.P.K Toronto law class. Today we'll be teaching sex is marriage, right? I had to say it like that for TikTok, but we're going to be teaching that basically. Sex is marriage. If you go in onto a woman, you're supposed to keep her forever. If you let a man lay with you, right? This is for the sisters. If you let a man lay with you, you got to keep him forever. You can't just leave him because you're angry, right? So as you come in, tap the screen, right? But we're going to be going in today. Sex is marriage. So first, right, we got the Holy Bible, right? From the Old Testament all the way to the New Testament, Genesis to Revelations, right? Now, this is not a religion. This is a code of conduct for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Many Black, Hispanic, and Native American households are in disarray, right? And we just want to have the Black family come together, the Hispanic family come together, the Native American family come together, right? And stay together. That's what we're promoting. A lot of times you see that a brother, he will sleep or lay down with a woman. He will sleep or lay down with a woman, and she's going to tell him, "You're not my husband," right? But according to God, he is your husband, sisters. According to God, if you lay down with that woman, she is your wife, and you cannot leave that woman outside of adultery, right? And sisters, you got to stay with that man. Go get some counsel, right? This is going to make you have to choose better. Damn right, Barack. Hey, Barack. What's going on? Right? This is going to make you have to choose better, knowing that if you sleep with a woman, you have to keep her for life, right? And knowing that if you sleep with a woman, you have to keep her for life, that's basically going to tell you, or it's going to help you. It's definitely going to help you. It's going to teach you that you can't just open your legs to anybody. You can't just give rod to any woman. A lot of brothers are on child support, in that child support court, right? Because they decided to take a woman home after the club. They decided to see a woman and sleep with her without getting to know her, right? What sex is marriage is going to teach you is that you have to get to know this woman, because if you touch it, you buy it, right? So we're going to go into it. I got a precept. Let me find it. I need Baruch 4:1. So I got Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever, right? So what we're reading within the Bible is the book of the commandments, right? It's the book of the commandments from God, meaning our power, right? Meaning our Savior, our Salakia, the person that we're supposed to answer to, right? We were given commandments directly from the Lord. And that's what we're going to read, right? What you're going to find out is how to govern your family is in the Bible. How to keep a family together is in a Bible. Right. How to end single mothers is in the Bible. Now, a lot of y'all might not understand this. Being a single mother is a plague on our community. It is not what the Lord intended, right? A lot of single mothers are going through it right now. They got a bunch of badass kids. Salakia. They got a bunch of kids that are just unruly and running wild on them, and they don't know how to handle it because there's no male authority in the house, right? There's no law in the house, and the kids, a sister's voice is just too feminine to be scary. It's not scaring anybody. Them kids will more be afraid of Freddy Krueger, some cartoon on a TV screen, than be afraid of their mother. That's why you need a man in the house, right? You need both parents, a man and the woman in the house, right? And we were commanded these things. We were commanded how to stay together, how to be a family. So we're going to go into it again. This is the book of Baruch. You can find it in the Apocrypha right here. Now, you got to ask your Christian pastor, where's the Apocrypha, right? Because there are people say there's books missing out of the Bible. They're right here, right? If you get you an old 1611 KJV, you will have the Old Testament, the New Testament, and in between those books, those collective of books, you're going to find the Apocrypha. So we're reading from it. Bubba Kashaw, phone's on mute. We're reading from it. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. Only they that keep it shall come to life, right? Keeping these commandments is going to bring life to your family, right? Keeping these commandments and understanding the law of God, right? The reward. Well, I would just have to ask you. So, hold up. Right. So I would just have to ask you, right? What is the, I'm going to let people in the chat answer or anybody in the class. What is the, okay, there's two things that you get with the Bible, right? What are those two things? In the chat, you could answer, what is the law, right? Within the Bible, you get the law, but what is the law? That is the question we got to ask. What is the law? So I'll let someone answer in the chat or anybody in the room. What is the law? Sister Now?
Following what the Most High says, and there's love. Correction?
Yes. Okay, correction. You're definitely on the right path. It is following, but there's two things. Okay, I'll answer a different question. There is two things with the law. Barak said commandments. It's definitely commandments, but with those commandments, what are the two sides to the commandments? Right. For time's sake, I'll give it to you. The law is reward and punishment. Right. With the law, you get rewarded. You follow the law, there is a reward at the end. If you don't follow the law, there is a punishment at the end. Right? Let's keep reading. Where were we? So this is the end of Baruch 4, verse 1. All they that keep it shall come to life. Right? But such as leave it shall die. This is letting you know, if you follow the law, you're going to have a happy family, right? And it's not just happy. You're going to have a family where you have both parents in the house because you follow that law, right? If you follow the law, you're going to have a long life, right? That's what you're going to have, a long life. When you don't follow the law, you are going to end up for lack of better words, a crackhead on King Street, right? When you don't follow the law, you're going to be on stage next to a man with herpes, with your cheeks out, with your rear end out, and your husband, because he doesn't follow the law, he's going to be angry because he didn't vet you. He didn't understand that he was supposed to vet you, right? And he's going to be on some website, on some social media platform, talking about how you're naked in the streets, right? So we're going to drop that. We're going to go into our topic. Our topic is sex is marriage. If you sleep with a woman, right? You're a man, you see a woman and you sleep with her, right? You see a woman outside, you talk to her, you spit some game, right? You spit some game, or you take some jump shots. That's what I like to call it. You take some jump shots, right? And she's feeling you, she feeling your swag. And sisters, some man comes and talks to you, he starts sweet talking you, and you give him a number. You guys exchange numbers, y'all talk for a little bit, y'all go on a couple of dates, and at the end of the date, or you might just go to his house and you guys find yourself doing things that adults do, right? You find yourself having sex. You are now to stay together forever, right? That is going to end single mothers. If you are angry that there are single mothers in your community, right? If you are angry that there are single mothers in your community, or you think single mothers in the community in your nation is a scourge on the community, then understand that when you sleep with a woman, you cannot leave her, right? If you're watching, tap that screen. We got sign-in links, right? If you got any questions or comments, type them in the chat. So we're going to leave that. We're going to go to Exodus 22 and 16, right? Now, you could look at Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans right now, and you see them at the bottom of everything. It's a hard life to be a Black, Hispanic, or Native American man or woman, because you're at the bottom. And that's because our nation as a whole has not been keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. We do not remember who we are. In the I.S.U.P.K, we know what we worship and we know who we are. But our nation as a whole has not been keeping the laws, right? Tommy, you can deal. You are definitely a Christian, right? So, Tommy, you are definitely a complete Christian. For your question, I'm going to answer it sooner or later, and I'm going to tell you why you asked, why you said what you said. Because this is something Christians say, because they lack accountability. Accountability to a Christian is like poison. It's worse than kryptonite to Superman. It's accountability to a Christian is 10 gallons of the deadliest snake poison. That's how Christians look at accountability, right? So where are we gonna go to? We're gonna break down what I mean by when I say sex is marriage. Now everybody's gonna be like, what do you mean sex is marriage? I've never heard this before. My pastor's never told me this, right? Your pastor has told you abstain from sex, maybe, depending on the church that you go to. Your pastor's told you to abstain from sex, right? But in that abstaining from sex, your Christian pastor is sleeping with everybody in the church, right? We've seen so many videos. There was recently a video that came out where the brother was trying to fight the pastor and the pastor shot him. The brother was charging the pastor for sleeping with his wife. The pastor was leading the congregation and committing adultery. All right. Bless your Christian heart, Tommy. All right. All right. So we're going to read into what we're talking about. We're going to jump to Exodus 22 and 16, right? Where are we? Exodus 22. Exodus 22. Exodus 22 and 16. All right, so let's get into it. This is Exodus 22 and 16, right? And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, right? So we're going to need to, a maid is a young woman who's of marriageable age, right? If a man entice a maid, meaning he sees a woman and he spits he spits game to her, right? He spits game to her. That's what enticing is. He starts talking to her. He basically says, Salakia. Now who knows what he says, but in the words that he's using, he's talking to this sister. He might tell her she's beautiful. He might tell her she smells like roses. He might tell her she's worth more than diamonds. He might tell her something, right? But he wants to get with this sister, right? A righteous man on the right hand side of the Lord, not like the false leaders who are totally off on the left hand side, not like the people who say the law is done away with, right? On the right hand side, the people who say you got to follow these laws, you got to believe the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, including the Apocrypha, right? That kind of man is going to spit game to a sister, and listen, he's going to tell her he wants to sleep with this sister. And he enticed her, right? Let's go into it. That is not betrothed. Slakia, Shariwan, can you look up the word betrothed? Can you find it in the Zondervan for us? Right? Not betrothed, right? Who, if you're in the chat, what does not betrothed mean? Right? Someone in the chat type in what not betrothed means. I'll give you a moment and then I'll give you the definition. Right? But a sister that is not betrothed and lie with her. So he finds a woman that's not betrothed and he lied with her. He slept with her. He had sex. Again, that's what the topic is about. The topic about today is sex. He had sex with this woman. Right? Come on, Barak. That is ultimately correct, Barak. Barak said she's not being hollered at, meaning she's not being courted. She's not talking to somebody. She's not trying to figure out if she. Can you get the definition in Oxford? Right. She's not being courted. Right. But we're gonna get the definition and lie with her. So a brother finds a sister who's not being courted and he lies with her. He shall surely endow her to be his wife. Right? So he slept with her and now he has to endow her to be his wife. Meaning, were you able to find it?
Come on, sir. This is the Eastern Bible Dictionary of the Betrothed that says to promise by one's truth, men and women were betrothed when they were engaged to be married.
Right. So betrothed is engaged to be married. She is not engaged to be married to another man, meaning she's free, right? She is able to be courted. He shall endow her to be his wife. Can you look up the word endow? Right? That means if you sleep with this woman, she is to be your wife. You can't sleep with her and throw her away. This is according to the law that God gave Moses. Right? You sleep with a woman, she becomes your wife. If a man sleeps with you, sisters, he becomes your husband. This is how you get rid of broken homes, right? And this is how you get rid of children growing up without fathers, right? This is how a lot of y'all brothers and sisters, or a lot of brothers, they be talking about we want to be passport bros because we want to go get some heathen, right? They want to go get some heathen, or they want to go get some sister from one of these islands, which is nothing wrong going to another island where your people are and going to get a sister. There's ultimately nothing wrong, but you got to keep her. You can't abuse this woman. You can't treat her like she's dirt. You can't treat her like she's nothing, right? You got to love this sister. You got to show her what it's like to be loved, right? Again, tap that screen if you're watching. Tap that screen if you're watching. If you got any questions, you could type in your questions. If you think you know the answer, you could type in this answer. This is a safe place for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? This is definitely a safe place for Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Again, we're live. We are live. We are live at 5120 Young Street, right? Da, 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 da. Salakia, did you find it?
Come, sir. Now, the definition of endowment: an income or form of property given or bequeathed to someone.
All right. Let me see that. Read that one more time for me.
An income or form of property given or bequeathed to someone.
All right. So that woman is going to be given to you, right? Who getteth the wife begetteth the possession, right? This is a good thing. Go wherever you feel you need to go. You don't have to stay here at all. You can go wherever your heart takes you, right? What if a sister just broke up, divorced, while she's in the world and she comes into the truth? That's a good question, Barak, right? That is definitely a good question. It's on task. It's on topic. If a sister, now, sisters, if you have a man that you're sleeping with, you should try to stay together. Get some counsel. But I.S.U.P.K offers amazing counsel, right? But to answer Barak's question, if a man leaves a woman, right? Sisters, you should not leave your husband. But if a man leaves you and you're in school and you come into the truth, you're going to purify yourself for 6 months, right? Become someone brand new, right? Get some counsel, right? Give it some time to make sure that this man has fully left you, right? And the sin is not on you after that. The sin, it won't be on you. The sin will be on him, because he's sinning by leaving you. Now, sisters, if you're leaving your man, that is a sin. And it's going to be like a plague in your household. Your household is going to flip from something good to a M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's going to be a horror movie like Signs, where so many things are happening. It's going to be like Insidious in your house, right? There are going to be men who come into your house and they're not going to stay, and their spirits are going to be in your house, meaning you're just not going to, you're going to have so many dead spirits on you, right? Because you're sleeping with men that aren't keeping you. And it's going to plague you. It's going to drive you crazy. And you're going to be like Tracy Ellis Ross, 50 years old. Tracy's not a sister, right? But you're going to be like her, 50 years old, with your front butt on the screen, talking about, I'm doing this for women empowerment. Since when was getting naked empowering to women? Right? But let's get back to it, Barak. And if a sister leaves her man, get counsel. If a man leaves a sister, get counsel. Right? Come into the school and get counsel. Where were we? So if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Right? Meaning they're going to be together. Right? You're going to become one flesh. That hymen only breaks once. Right? What is the perfect amount of bodies? This is something that they talk about. What's your body count? What's your body count? It's like these guys are playing killer. It's like these guys are trying to figure out who has the most bodies. And in the world, sisters relish in how many bodies they can catch. Brothers relish in how many women they can sleep with and leave. How many women they can get after the club, taken to the back of their Honda Accord, right? To the back of their Acura TL. Sleep with her. Have sex with her. And just forget about it. And throw away like the hot dog fever, right? You know when you're on the street and you get them hot dogs, right? You get them Franks or the glizzy. What did the Judice brothers call them? The glizzy. And the glizzy comes with that napkin or that paper or that cardboard box, and you finish eating the hot dog and then you throw away that napkin. That's what's happening to these sisters in the club. They're being tossed away just like that. Sisters are getting with men and leaving them just like that, right? So let's jump down to, we're going to go through a couple of these precepts, right? And then we're going to get into some of the breakdowns that we have for what's going on, right? So you found out that we're in the book of the commandments, right? And one of the commandments is, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. That is a commandment. You sleep with a woman that has no husband, that's not being courted, she has now become your wife. So let's get into this. Where are we going? Let's jump to Genesis, right? Again, if y'all got any questions, what is going on? What is going on? So we're going to jump to, for everyone following along, again, tap that screen if you're with us. We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, right? We're live in Canada. Going forward, we're going to be live weekly. We got a weekly class that you can come and join in the city of Toronto. At the moment, we're at 5120 Yonge Street, right? This is, you can come to the Central Library, level 1, room 3, right? So again, what we're doing here now is interesting, because we're talking about love and fixing the Black, Hispanic, and Native American family, and they look at us like we are the terrorists. They look at us like we're out here blowing up buildings, right? The pastor, okay, the difference between us and the Christian church, right? I'm just going to put it all out there for you. The difference between us and the Christian church, in the I.S.U.P.K, there is no divorce, right? Divorce is a plague. It's not to be done. It's commanded not to be done, right? We're going to get into it. If you stick around, we're going to get into it. We'll break it all the way down. You're probably wondering, why was there divorce in the Old Testament? And we're going to get into that. We're going to break this thing all the way down, get into it. We're fixing marriages right now. You should be paying for this, right? A lot of y'all, Salakia, excuse me, for those who don't know the Hebrew, right? A lot of couples, they go and pay somebody in a suit who really doesn't care about them hundreds and thousands of dollars to try to keep a marriage from failing. And then those marriages fail because there's always some pastor who's basically giving the man or woman counsel to leave, right? There's always some family member, some auntie who's had 30 husbands. This auntie had 30 husbands. She had 9 children by 15 different men. Y'all do the math on that. She had 9 children by 15 different men. Right? I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. Let's see if y'all can get that riddle. How does a woman have 9 children by 15 men? When y'all are ready, y'all will let me know. Right? Let's see who will figure it out. Where are we gonna get to? We're gonna go to. So we already broke down how if you sleep with a woman, you're supposed to stay with her. Right, we're going to go into Genesis 2 and 24, right? Because this is something that is old. What we're talking about is old. Barak, see, Barak knows. Like, I already knew Barak knew. Barak in the comments, he letting them know she went to the butcher shop, right? 9 children, 15 different baby fathers. Do the math. That's 6 children in the butcher shop. Good night. Right. Now, I just said it like that so you could get the extreme of what's happening in our families. Show you one?
Just to add to that, and the men and the stepdads, right, of these children that aren't even his, and he's paying child support for those.
Good night. Listen, there are a lot of men who found themselves in the child support court and never touched a woman. Have you heard those stories? Have y'all heard those stories? The brother's like, I had to pay this much child support, or he just rocking out in jail. He said, nah, F that. I'm just going to go do some jail time. right? Or he's trying to figure it out. Why he had to pay child support for a child that's not his. Why he paid child support when he thought the child was his. And it turned out the child wasn't his, right? A lot of you sisters are butchers. Straight up Jason Voorhees, y'all go to the butcher. It's a graveyard in the southern region. That box is a graveyard, right? Let's get to it. Where we at? Genesis. But what we're talking about, sex is marriage, is something old. It's not nothing this is not a brand new thought. I'm not even thinking my own thoughts, right? I just say the things that the men above us say, right? The men above us just say the things that the Lord wants to say. So I'm just saying the things that the Lord wants to say, right? The Lord wants me to tell you that sex is marriage. So your home is there. The Lord wants me to tell you you're supposed to love that man and treat him like a brother. Do you know what it does to a person when you tell them, I'm going to be with you forever, just to walk away? A lot of you fake Israelites are like that, right? A lot of you purple pigs are like that, right? You told Commanding General YAHANNA you were down forever, and then you left him. You told brothers in the school that you were down forever, and you left them. You told sisters, I'm gonna rock with you forever. I'll die for you, and you left them. This is the same thing that happens in relationships. In relationships, a woman will tell a man, I want you forever. You're my soulmate. Y'all ever hear that? Listen, if a woman tells me I'm her soulmate, I look at her like, you're about to leave me. She says, you're my soulmate. I'm like, oh man, what time is it? Okay, it's 10:01. By 10:02, she's out the door. I'm her soulmate. She is lying. She is just looking for she's just saying that just to say it. If a woman tells a man tells a, what's that next one they say? They say soulmate. There's another one I'm looking for that they say. God.
Meant for each other, the one made for each other, stuff like that.
God, all types of stuff like that. It's about to jump back to me in a second, but they'll say something like, I'm your soulmate, right? They'll say something like, oh man, I gotta find it. Right.
Ordained to be together.
Nah. I never heard that one really, but yeah, they'll say soulmate. If a sister says, what do you bring to the table? That is a red flag, right? Because what she's doing is when she asks, what do you bring to the table? She's basically saying, I'm just trying to match up what you have to what the next man has. That's what she's saying, right? So I'll get out of one. A lot of brothers on paternity court are not the biological fathers. I believe you. I believe you. That's Barack talking to me right there. I believe you. I believe that you see it all the time. Like at least 8 out of 10, right? But why is that? Why are a lot of brothers in paternity courts not the father? Let's see who's paying attention, right? If you understand that a lot of brothers in paternity court are not the father, type in why they are not the father. Why are these men not the father? And it's not as simple as because they're not the father. It's a deeper issue that we're going to be talking about right now. Right? So I got to get to Genesis 2 and 24. Right. We're going to read Genesis 2 and 24. As we come back in, I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer that question for you right after Genesis 2 and 24. So we're in Genesis chapter 2. We're at the 24th verse. There shall a man leave his father and his mother. Right? So this is talking about in the time of Adam. This is only the second chapter. It's the second chapter in the first book of the Bible. Right? Genesis 2:24. There shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife. Right? So, in the time of Adam, a man will leave his father and his mother. Right? In the time of Adam, a man would leave his father and his mother. Do you know what that just cut? That just cut the Christian church, and everyone came from Adam. That cut it totally to bits. Right? That cut the. Now, I didn't mean to say like. Okay, I'm gonna say it more correctly. Right? The Christian church teaches that Adam and Eve were the first people. When you do the math on it, you're going to run into major problems. Right? But what the world or what year? Okay, this is something you might not know. Scientists go to the Bible to get their answers to science. You thought scientists came up with the Big Bang Theory, like that whole Big Bang Theory, and boom, there was a bunch of people. Scientists didn't come up with that. That's in the Bible. God made man on the 6th day, and a long time later, almost a day unto the Lord is like 1,000 years. A long span of time later, boom, the Lord raised up Adam from the dirt, meaning he showed him something that no one else had on earth. Right? So let's get back to it. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. A man leaves his father and mother. Adam had a father and mother. Let's get back to it. And shall cleave unto his wife. Right? So he's cleaving onto his wife. He is cleaving onto his wife, meaning they are staying together. Right? And they shall become one flesh. Right? So I'm going to break that down for you in a second. What does it mean a man and woman become one flesh? Anybody can answer it. What does it mean a man and woman become one flesh? Right? So I'm gonna let you know. Earlier I asked a question. Barack said a lot of brothers on paternity court are not the biological fathers. And I asked, why are they not the biological fathers? The answer is because they did not take the time to court the sister. They did not take the time to get to find out, is this woman a hoe? Or is she going to be my rib, the mother of my children? Is she going to be a good child? Salakia, a good wife. Right? So, we're going to Salakia. All right, so what were we saying? The brother, he didn't record that sister. He didn't take time to find out what kind of woman she is. He did none of that, none of the above. So now he married a hoe. He brought a hoe into his family. And she slept with his friend, his brother, or 10 men after he went to work. Listen, she could be Jada Pinkett. She could have been the one sleeping with her son's friend. Right? So that's why a lot of brothers on paternity court are not biological fathers. They did not know sex is marriage. They did not know that when you sleep with this woman, you got to keep her. They did not know that you're supposed to court this sister and find out everything about her. Test her. Start an argument with her just to find out how she's going to react. Boom, I just gave you free game. You should be paying for it, but you're not. This is free right now for you. Right? So, let's get back to it. And they shall be one flesh. What does it mean, one flesh? What does it mean, there shall, Salakia, and they shall be one flesh? A man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. What does that mean? Well, we're going to break it down right now, right? Slovakia. It's 8, right? Okay, no, sorry. All right, so we're going to jump through this breakdown just a little more, right? So one flesh means they're on one accord. They're in one covenant. They think the same. They understand that once we do this thing, once we go into this bedroom, once we, Slovakia, I'm going to say it like that. Once we go into this bedroom, right? We're going to be one. We're going to have to be on one accord. We're not going to leave each other. We're going to understand that we are a family. We are a unit. We're supposed to be together, right? This is the same thing as Christ and the Lord, right? Christ and the Lord are one accord. On one accord. Christians will think that means that Christ is God, right? Christians will try to tell you about some holy trinity. They'll try to make the Holy Spirit a whole person, right? And they'll say it's 3 people in one. But that's not what it means. It means you think like how the Lord thinks. How does the Lord think? The Lord thinks when you sleep with a woman, you keep her. When you let a man sleep with you, he has to keep you. That's what the Lord thinks. That is being on one accord with Christ, right? Salaka, we just might have to do a part 2 to this class. Right, we just might, because I got a lot of things I want to go through. We definitely might have to do a part 2 to this class. Right, we definitely are short on time, but we're gonna push through this, power through this. Right. So now I got to give you another example of sex is marriage. Now you're wondering, now okay, what's not in the Bible? I'm gonna just give you the answer because we're short on time. What's not in the Bible is signing a piece of paper with the government. What's not in the Bible is going to some jeweler and giving him $5,000 to buy a ring, right? That is not what's in the Bible. What's in the Bible is what I'm going to read you right now, and how Isaac, right? Because we're in Genesis, so we're going to stay in Genesis. Y'all can jump to Genesis 24, 67. We're going to stay in Genesis. How did Isaac marry his rib, Rebecca? So let's jump into it. Good night. Right, mandatory monogamy is not in the Bible. You want to know what else is not in the Bible? A man having one wife, right? There's no commandment saying a man can have one wife. There's no commandment saying a man should have, I'll say it properly. There's no commandment saying a man should have one wife. There's no commandment saying a man should have 10 wives. So what's that mean? If a man chooses not to have a wife, that is okay too. He'll just come in this truth and do work, excellent work. Now listen, I ain't really met a brother ever that didn't want a wife. Salakia. I'm just gonna say like that. I never met a man ever who didn't want the sex that makes you married, right? So let's get into this. We're gonna go to Genesis 24. 24, Genesis 24 and 67, right? All right, so this is Genesis 60. This is Genesis 24 and 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother's Sarah's tent, right? So Isaac got a wife. He got Rebecca, right? And they brought Rebecca back to Isaac, right? Somebody, one of Abraham's servants went and got Rebecca for Isaac, right? They made a deal with the family, and this is usually how it works, right? In a perfect society, a man will see a sister. If you know the sister, you'll go to the sister's father, brother, uncle, whoever's in charge of that sister, right? Because there is always a man over that sister. Whoever's in charge of her, they will let her basically decide if she wants to be married to this person. But first, you will go to that man and ask for permission to court his daughter, his niece, his sister, right? Or just the sister that he's in charge of. You're going to ask permission. So that's what happens. That's what they did for Isaac and Rebekah. Verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother's tent. Right? So Isaac had Rebekah. He took her into his mother's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Wait, so what did they do in the tent? 1 second, I'll try to figure this out. I gotta read this one more time. Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. That sounds like sex. That sounds like sex. He took Rebekah into his mother's tent, and they had sex. And she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Right? So this is all in the time of Sarah passing away. Sarah's passing away. He gets a wife. Now he has a woman that's going to comfort him in his time of mourning. Right? So let's go. Now, last month was June. And the Catholic Church, because the Pope is the vicar of the LGBTQ community,
Right.
is telling Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans it's okay for two men, Adam and Steve, to be together. And they can get married. Well, that's not according to what God believes. That's not according to the Bible. Now, you can have your own beliefs, but me and my family, we're going to go according to the Bible because this is the book of the commandments, right? So I'm just going to jump to Leviticus 18 and 22 real quick. Cut.
So I thought it was crazy. Yeah, I guess I was not surprised, but they have painted the church steps going into that Catholic church, that rainbow.
Right.
Right in Toronto. I was like, they're not even.
They ain't even hiding
that.
No, they ain't even hiding that. Look, Salaki, a little off topic, but look how many children are abused in those spaces. You got the Gadites talking about how they were electrocuted, right? You got so-called Native Americans are the tribe of Gad, right? You got First Nation people within Canada talking about how they were stolen in the thousands during the 60s scoop and dating before that. Up until the 90s, there were still residential schools. They're still digging up the bones now. But we're off topic. Let's jump back into topic, right? So Leviticus 18, 18 and 22. Thou shalt not lie with a man, with mankind, as with womankind. It is an abomination. Whoa. So two men cannot go into the same bed, right? That's what you're finding out. Two men, what is that? Okay. Two men cannot go into the same bed. They can't sleep together. That is not marriage. According to the Bible, that is not a marriage. That is not a marriage at all. That's just two men doing horrible things. Right? Again, that is not a marriage. We're going to leave that right there. A marriage is when a man entices a maid who's not betrothed and he lies with her. He lays with her. Right? You see all the babies in the world. How do you think they got there? Right? He lies with her and he endows her to be his wife. He takes her for a possession. Right? Salakia Shariwan, this is running low. Give me a second if you can hear me. Yeah, it just went off. Give me a second if you can hear me. I gotta switch that background. All right, we should be back. Which one is it? Okay, wrong camera. That camera is not looking good. But sex is when a man and a woman lay together. That's how they become married. Right? Now, Barack, that is an abomination. right? When two women lay together, it's an abomination according to the Bible. Now, according to the world, they could do that if they want because it's not against the law of the world. But according to the Bible, it is against the law. It's not tawab, not good for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to participate in this community, right? Right, so that brings me into my next precept, right? Now, listen, there are a bunch of there's one particular group, right, of fake Israelites. Their leader is a gorilla, and they believe that if you go to war with a heathen, you could take her as a wife. Like you go to war with Edom. Basically, what they're saying is they want to sleep with Edom, right? They're saying if you take a Caucasian, if you go to war with a Caucasian person or an Edomite, right? After the war and you won, you could take their women captives and sleep with them. They are totally butchering that scripture and not understanding what it means, right? So we're going to be going into that right now. This is Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy 7 and 3. Hold up. Flipping through the pages right now. We're gonna get there. There's Roman numerals VII, which is 7 and 3. Deuteronomy 7 and 3. These are the commandments that come from the Lord. We read in Baruch 4 and 1. This is the book of commandments, and we're going into it, right? Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Who is the them? Wait, we're talking about marriage. Who is the them? What are we talking about? Right? Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter. So now we're figuring this out. You can't make marriages with them? Who is the them? Because the Lord told us to be fruitful and multiply. So who's the them? We're going to get into it. The them is the heathens, right? Now, many times when you go into this, right, people will be like, it didn't say Edom, so Edom is okay. What you're understanding is the law was given to us about what was happening around us. All right, so we're back. I just had a couple technical difficulties, but we're right back. So we're going to go into it, right? A lot of times when you read this, you'll hear and find out that they're saying that, listen, that was only talking about it's okay to be with Edom because it doesn't say it, right? But let's get into it. The them is the heathen nations. If you want a woman, you want a man, You got to go with your peoples. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, stay Black, Hispanic, and Native American. Listen, I went to Salsa on St. Clair, and the sisters were sistering. Listen, I'll say it like that. Like, if you understand, you understand, man. The sisters were being sisters. And good night. It was a sea full of women, and some simple Jake was out there with a Becky that looked like Hustle and Flow. You know the Becky from Scary Movie, right? The Becky from Hustle and Flow. Yeah, the orange is the new black. You know that the Edomite with the bad teeth and orange is the new black. He was there with her, and his face said, "Oh no, what did I do? I can't believe I did this." Listen, the Lord doesn't want us to be with him. So let's keep going. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Right? Why? So we're being told we cannot sleep with these heathen nations. If it's not Black, Hispanic, or Native Americans, we can't do it. And it's saying, don't give your daughter to them and don't give your son to them. Don't take their daughters and don't take their sons. But why? Why? Now, have y'all ever heard of Mark Saunders? Right? If you're in the city of Toronto, I'm going to give you a little story because we're short on time. Mark Saunders is a brother who was the police chief in the city of Toronto. And during his tenure as police chief, the city of Toronto police is corrupt, right? Just like Montreal, just like any city police in any major city, it's a corrupt organization that targets Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans disproportionately, as if we're committing all the crime. They'll be in the hood looking for all the drugs when the drugs come from Vaughan. They'll be in the hood looking for the guns when the guns come from the white and from the Edomite grandmother, the Caucasian grandmother and grandfather that are coming across the border and bringing them in the RV, right? Some Edomite made a 3D printer, and now in the city of Toronto, they 3D print ghost guns. Well, Mark Saunders is a brother who was married to a Edomite, right? And he acted as if all the crime in the city of Toronto was happening in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhoods. And this is supposed to be a brother, but he sleeps with the enemy of his people, right? He sleeps with the enemy of his people and had the nerve to get on TV and said, the practice of walking up to random Black, Hispanic, and Native American people and asking for their ID is a tool to stopping crime. I'll show you one. Has crime stopped in the city of Toronto?
Honestly.
Good night. The shootings just kept happening.
Yes, I think Toronto is the highest rate of carjackings they've ever had this year.
And carding is not stopping that, right? Carding hasn't stopped anything like that. Now, this brother doesn't care about his people. Let's read in the Bible exactly what I just said to you. So this is Deuteronomy 7:4. For they will turn away thy son from following me. Right? Now, if you sleep with someone outside of your nation, you're going to follow their gods. If you follow their gods, you're going to love what they love and hate what they hate. And what is it? Is it Psalms 83? Psalms 83, the prayer that we say? Right? It is Psalms 83. In Psalms 83, you find out all the nations came up against Israel. All the heathen nations came up against Israel. Right? Mark Saunders loved the people who came up against his people. So he goes against them. He goes against the brotherhood that the Lord wants. The Lord wants Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be brotherly. And Mark Saunders was not brotherly to us because he slept with and married some Edomite. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. right? Now, you've seen this. Salakia. King Solomon fell because he got with heathen women and they had him worship other gods. He built altars for their gods, right? A lot of, listen, go marry a heathen woman. Now, I'm not telling you to do this, right? So, Salakia, don't go marry a heathen woman. But if you marry a heathen woman, a Edomite, and you tell her, we're not celebrating Thanksgiving tonight, we're not celebrating the death and murder of Native Americans, Salakia, the unaliving of Native Americans, she's going to bug out. It's going to totally be an issue. She's not going to let you do this thing, right? She's not going to allow you to not celebrate the murder of her enemy. Right. There's not going to be no Christmas. Like, that's going to be a war. The war in the house is going to be Christmas, that Christmas tree. Right. You're going to say, I came into the truth now, and I don't want to celebrate my birthday. And because she is a total heathen and not for you and not for your God, it's going to be a war about a Christmas tree, about a dead tree that they want to put in their house and lie to children about. Some oppressor coming down a chimney. In the ghetto, there are no chimneys. On the reserves, there ain't no chimneys. On the reserves, the reserves, our brothers and sisters are living horribly. Right? Oh, The Lord, the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Right? So you're finding out that the anger is going to be destroying you because you're going against what the Most High wants, right? We're not supposed to take their children, their sons or their daughters, right? And why you're finding out, not, it specifically says, don't give thy daughter or take their son, right? It cuts out the excuses. So now there's no excuses to say you didn't understand what we're saying. This gives it to you directly. Don't give them to your daughters. Don't give them your sons. Don't take their daughters or don't take their sons. Right? So it cuts out all those excuses. But there's something that we want to go into. Good night. I cannot answer that call right now. There's something that we want to get into. Slovakia. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up real fast. All right, so next week we're definitely doing a part 2, right? This deserves a part 2. We got so much more things to get into. Listen, I got a bunch of things I want to get into, right? You seen the video with Keke Palmer, right? Everyone's seen it. Keke Palmer, she's with Usher. She's on the stage with Usher. Usher gave a man herpes through oral sex. Good night. Usher would have been out partying in June. Usher would have had a purple t-shirt on with gold tassels.
That's right.
Like, good night. I'm just like, it's Usher. You know, he would have been A-Town stomping in that purple shirt. Right? Okay, so if you've seen the video with Keke Palmer, she was totally wrong and out of order. She should not have been doing that. Right? There's something I definitely want to read for you. I'm going to be going through it real fast. And then we're going to wrap it up, but we'll be back next week with part 2 of this class. So we're in the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. If anybody can see it, you need to get one of these. This is totally amazing. You want to get one of these, the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. All right. So we're going to be reading what marriage is. So we gotta. A second. All right, so we're going to be reading what marriage is. This is the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary, page 511. Marriage is an intimate, right? It's something special, right? It's intimate. It's between two people, right? Personal. It's personal. It's not for everybody, right? Union, meaning two people came together. Marriage is an intimate, personal union, right? We look at sex like it's a joke. We look at sex like it's nothing. And this is why our families are broken. We look at sex like you could just sleep with that woman and throw her away. And you wonder why these kids are out shooting everything up, because the fathers aren't in the homes. Majority of the time, the mother kicked the father out the home because he took another woman because the pastor told him, or some purple maggot, some purple person in a shirt, right? Some purple pink paid police told him that, and told that sister, your husband cannot have another man. Your husband cannot have another woman because he doesn't know how to get other women, right? Now listen, multiple wives isn't for everybody, but much polygamy, right? But it's just not for everybody. Some people aren't allowed to even have one because they don't know how to be a husband. They don't know how to be a wife, right? Some sisters, y'all need to work on being a wife. A lot of you brothers, y'all need to come in the school and work on how to be a brother. Work on how to be a sister. We got a brotherhood, and we got brotherhood classes. Brotherhood encompasses sisterhood. So we got a brotherhood class where you'll learn how to be a good brother. You'll learn how to be a good sister, right? Let's get back into it. To which a man and woman consent. What is consent? Right? For lack of time, consent is agreement. Next week, I'm going to be reading this again, right? But consent is agreement, meaning how do you agree on something? You got to talk about it. You got to come to the same conclusion and be like, listen, we're both on one accord with this thing, right? That's what you got to be on. You got to understand that when you consent to something, it's because you agreed. A man and woman courted, then they consented and agreed. Consummated. Ooh, the marriage was consummated, right? How do you consummate that marriage, right? Now listen, casual sex is nasty. You can't just go and just give your body to anybody. It's a horrible thing for one woman to be with 10 men. What is the perfect body count? According to the God of the Israelites, according to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the perfect body count for a sister is 1. If you ask a father will tell you none. So just imagine how much shame you bring to your father, ladies. How much shame. Again, the perfect body count for a sister is 1. Now just imagine how much shame you bring to your father, because he doesn't want you to have a body count at all. According to a father, a perfect body count is 0. But you have Kobe Bryant numbers. Listen, there's some sisters in the city of Toronto and in Montreal. They drop Kobe numbers on Toronto. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I mean when I said they drop Kobe numbers on Toronto when it comes to their body count? That's 80. When Kobe came to Toronto and scored 80. And sisters be MVP, but it's not valuable. It's not valuable at all. It loses value. Like, okay, what happens when a car has mileage on it? Does anybody know? You lose value on that car the second you take it off the lot. It's not, you bought a 30,000 Acura RDX, brand new. It's black rims, red interior. Don't ask me how I know. Just know it was amazing when you first looked at it. You got permission to take it off the lot. You took it off the lot and the value decreased. To everyone else, the value decreased because now the value might be the same to you as it should. Metaphor, meaning that woman's value is the same to you, but to everybody else, the more and more and more owners she has, the value decreases. It's now a used car. It goes to the used car lot. It's not fresh off the lot, right? So let's continue reading. Consummating the consent, they agreed. They had a talk. They courted. They spoke about this thing. They understood that, listen, I'm going to be with you forever if we do this thing. My family is going to be your family. Your family is going to be my family. As a brother, you want to find out what kind of sister is this. As a sister, you want to find out what kind of brother is this, right? You want to know what he does. What is he into? You want to know what kind of brother is this brother, right? You want to know what kind of woman is this woman. It's not even a second or third car. She didn't ran through. She a rental hawk. Yeah, listen. She got 80 bodies because she a rental, right? That's essentially what happens. No man stays. How did my brother Kayad once say? I played it earlier. He said every man I rush, but she'll just get used. Good night. Oh, they rushing over there, but they ain't staying. They ain't staying. They ain't trying to stay over there. Why would they want to stay over there? She been with everybody. She been with the whole garrison, the whole neighborhood. Some of y'all women, your nicknames in your neighborhood is neighborhood, because you're for everybody. That is a terrible thing. Some of y'all brothers, y'all just be getting with every sister. They call you. Now, again, a brother can have 1, 0, or 10 if he wants to, right? But he has to keep them. But you become neighborhood rod when you're just giving that rod out and not making a sister have to work for the rod. Like, how lacking. Do you know how, Salaki, do you know how, I just want to say this, and then we're going to probably bring this class to an end, right? Do you know how morally deprived you have to be as a brother, a black man, a Hispanic man, a Native American man, to go out and just be giving away your rod to every sister, every heathen that walks? You shouldn't be giving to heathens in the first place. But some of y'all just can't get enough of them heathens. I've seen Jamie Foxx, right? Jamie Foxx looks sicker than ever. We couldn't tell if that man was alive or dead. Right? Was he alive or was he unalive? We don't know. But y'all brothers, y'all be giving out that rod and not making the sister have to work for it. Not making her be a help me. You have no pride. You have no pride in you. There's no self-awareness of how you're supposed to govern yourself as a nation, how you're supposed to be as a man, right? But they consummated, right? So marriage is an intimate, personal union to which a man and woman consent, consummated, and continuously nourished by sexual intercourse, right? You nourish because it's something that's to be enjoyed. Not your rib only gives you intercourse or intimate relations or sex, which makes you married because it's special. Because you're already married, it's not special. It's like, what are you talking about? I took out the dish, I did the dishes, or I went and did some housework, so now it's a prize that I get to get the box. What are we talking about? It's mine, right? You did the work for it. Meaning it's the sister's rod too. She did the work for it. You just don't hold that rod above her and be you're already married. It's supposed to be special. It's supposed to be something both of y'all can enjoy. Right? So that's how you nourish the relationship, because they're both enjoying it. It's something pleasurable, right? The pleasure of sleep, right? And then a baby's fashioned in the womb with that pleasure of sleep. So again, it's supposed to be something that both parties enjoy. And now, once you find out that sex is marriage, you don't even think about taking a sister and leaving her. You don't think about a brother taking a brother and leaving him. Christians will ask and say, once you tell a Christian sex is marriage, they're going to say, so you're already married. It happened in the comment, right? It happened earlier in the comments. You're already married. right? So why they're saying that is because they duck accountability. But once again, I'm priest and officer Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K. Oh, 1 second, I got 2 minutes. Let me just read this out, right? So again, this is Zondervan's 511 marriage. The Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary, the one I showed you earlier, page 511, marriage. And perfected in a lifelong partnership of mutual love and commitment. It doesn't say happiness. If you think that a marriage is supposed to be happy, you've been fed a fairy tale. Once again, I'm priest and officer 1000 Zabaja of the ISUPK. We'll be back live next week. Check out us on social media, on YouTube. We'll let you know where we'll be, right? So,